According to a Daily Maverick report, China is set to lead the joint interagency, Inter-Departmental, multinational exercise from the 9th to the 16th of January. Stellenbosch University Professor of Military Science, Francois Vreÿ, joins us now live via video line. Professor, thank you so much for your time tonight. We know that this is the third exercise of this sort to take place, right? How significant is this for South Africa?
Hi, Malungelo, thank you, and also for hosting me. This is important for South Africa because we must remember that this is not an official BRICS exercise for the simple reason that the BRICS grouping of countries does not have a formal security defense naval type of agreement to cooperate on defense matters. But this is an ongoing exercise, the third one, and each BRICS member has a national agenda why they join BRICS. I think in the case of South Africa, we are fortunate, although there's controversy, to host the MOSI exercises because it's a naval exercise and it is quite tough for a country to host a maritime exercise like this. This is also a maritime exercise that is probably one of the few, if not the only one, that takes place in the southern Indian Ocean, southern Atlantic to the southern seas. And we must understand that for South Africa to host a naval exercise together with big powers like China and Russia, and then of course this year we are seeing that Iran is joining us, this is something that I think one should look at it through status-seeking behavior to enhance the status of South Africa as a player, even if it's only a player in the global south. There's controversy about this, but we also have to look at the other side of just criticizing what is happening. So South Africa is in fact conducting an element of naval diplomacy by way of maritime activities and cooperation, by way of naval cooperation with by bringing its navy into this exercise that takes place every 2 years.
Prof, how has the scope of this exercise changed since 2019, especially with the inclusion of countries like Indonesia and Ethiopia this time around?
Right. In terms of the exercise itself, I think the change one can see that Iran is now joining up in MOSI 3. Now, this played out now, but this has been coming since the end of 2024, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of maritime work that I've participated in academically, not with the Navy or military.
Yeah.
Furthermore, we must also remember that BRICS also has other members. In this case, we must look at Ethiopia, and we must look at Egypt, and we must also look at the UAE.
Yeah.
They are BRICS members. Except for Ethiopia, the other two are littoral states with their own navies. And then we must look at BRICS partners. For example, Nigeria, Cuba, Vietnam, and Thailand. They are also littoral states. They're not BRICS member states, but they are partner states. But overall, this exercise remains one focused on maritime security, the softer side of security and the roles that navies play. And I think that we must look that in 2026, maybe, I think we can expect more defense cooperation under a BRICS banner. People tend to link the BRICS to these exercises, but there's no formal type of arrangement, body, or whatever in BRICS for doing this. But I'll be looking at 2026, where this could well become more formalized.
Prof, how does the inclusion of Iran make South Africa looks against, the Western nations in this exercise?
Okay, this is controversial.
Yeah.
we have to remember that in 2025, South Africa, I think in August, South Africa, by way of the controversy around the chief of the National Defence Force, was very explicit about defence cooperation partnerships between South Africa and Iran. It was later a type of played down that this is not formal policy, and there was a big controversy about it, but I mean, the message got out about close cooperation in defence. We must also remember and take note that in terms of this cooperation with Iran, this is with MOSI.
Yeah.
It is China, Russia, South Africa, Iran, but there's also other exercises that takes place in the Arabian Sea, for example, between China, Russia, and Iran, the so-called security belt. If I'm not mistaken, South Africa was an observer there.
Yes.
MOSI 3 is then the opportunity to bring Iran into the fold. And this is what is going to happen. There's going to be critique, and a lot of people, countries may not like it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the scene is set.
I mean, this year the drills are officially led by China, right? What does this tell us about China's ambition of their permanent presence in Southern African waters, if any?
Okay, first of all, I think we must be realistic.
Yeah.
There's no country, not the USA, not Russia, not China, that can keep a naval presence everywhere in waters. China, if we look at China concerning the question,
Yeah.
China has a permanent presence in its own waters, specifically in the South China Sea, the rings of islands, etc., about what's going on there, with a focus on the Indo-Pacific. Then China has almost a permanent presence in the northwestern Indian Ocean, around the Gulf of Aden and a little bit towards the Red Sea. And in fact, the task force that's coming down to participate in MOSI 3 is a part of the task force that is stationed and gets rotated every, let's say, so many months or once a year in that part of the Indian Ocean. So I don't think we should think about a permanent naval presence of China down here, because realistically, China just won't keep a naval presence up in the northwestern Indian Ocean, and also a permanent naval presence down towards the Southern Ocean. Maybe there will be other kinds of presence. I mean, they've got their naval attaché. They bring their visits from time to time to South Africa, goodwill visits when flotillas or squadrons of China pass around. And but no, I don't think that we should look as that. But what we must keep in mind, China is intent upon becoming a global player. It's interested in becoming a global maritime security provider, cooperating with the countries like this in MOSI, cooperating with the countries in exercise security belt, as well as the exercises that they do towards the Pacific. These are all about extending a naval presence, but not permanent, but also to become a maritime security provider, to be able to offer and promote maritime security, because we must remember that the world trade and commerce is maritime based. And in order to make sure that that basis remains safe and that it operates, you need to have maritime security providers that extends the kinds of security services and goods so that your commercial fleets, etc., can operate at sea.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for your time. That was Stellenbosch University Professor of Military Science, Francois Vreÿ.